Welcome, friends, today to what is a difficult subject and one that is something we all understand, and that's the issue of unforgiveness. Unforgiveness is a toxic pain. It hurts, but it is a pain that can go away. And I want to share with you some thoughts on that today. May God bless you. We're in a time of what I believe is a growing level of unforgiveness. The Bible tells us about the last days, and it says a number of things about what people will be, and one of those things is unforgiving. Now, I know that many of you who watch this will have people that have not forgiven you and have people that you have not forgiven in your life. And we're told that in these days, this is a growing problem. Unforgiveness grows bitterness. Hebrews tells us that we should pursue peace with all people. Hey, that's hard. And holiness, well, that only comes from God, and without which no one will see the Lord. And then looking carefully in case any root of bitterness springing up causes trouble, and by this many become defiled. We become messed up inside when this bitterness grows from within. And most of that bitterness comes from unforgiveness. Unforgiveness can lead to reduced peace of mind, unhealthy relationships, poor mental health, increased anxiety, stress, and hostility, high blood pressure, symptoms of depression, a weaker immune system, reduced heart health, lower self-esteem, and the list goes on. Unforgiveness is a pain, and it can actually lead to all kinds of medical complications as well as psychological ones. So what is forgiveness? Well, forgiveness in its essence is letting go, pushing it out, and saying that's not going to be in me or part of my life anymore. Forgiveness is rejecting payback, making a deliberate and willful decision to say we're not going to go down that path of taking revenge. Forgiveness is breaking sin's power, and that's what happens. And the enemy had a plan for whatever it was that hurt you to spoil your life. Break that power by forgiving. Forgiveness is an act of will. You do have the choice in this, no matter what you're told. And forgiveness, friends, let me tell you, it's hard. Every one of us have struggled with it. That's why Jesus said, even pray for your enemies, because in doing so, we learn to forgive. But what forgiveness is not, it's not making an excuse. It's not accepting the wrong. It's not accepting it and saying, well, it's kind of understandable. Maybe it was my fault or I had a part to play. It's not that kind of thing. It's not agreeing with what was wrong. It's not saying it was okay. It's not trusting the person again, because maybe they have lost that trust, and you do not need to trust them completely or in the same way the second time around. And forgiveness is not leaving out justice, because justice is something that people need to be called to as well. And we've seen on the news those who have wronged people, especially children, have been called to justice even after decades, and the judgment has finally come their way. And some keep getting off, even those people. We can forgive, but even God will never forget. And forgiveness is empowering. You have to understand that all kinds of harm and evil are done in this world, and some even in the name of God. But we need to be empowered by forgiving when people are, one, truly repentant. If they do come in genuine remorse and regret and repentance, it's easier to forgive. Sometimes they are sorry, or they say they're sorry. We need to forgive them. Sometimes they'll just regret it. They might not even say they're sorry. They might have said something to someone else. And we need to forgive, and forgiveness is empowering. Sometimes they don't regret it, and they'll tell you why it was all your fault. You still need to forgive. And sometimes they're not even a little bit sorry. And that will be the hardest time to forgive. But it's empowering when you do. And just from those pictures there, you'll realize some of this pain is very deep, some of it is very raw, some of it is decades old, but all of it needs forgiveness. And God can empower you to do that. Forgiveness is a must. Jesus said, whenever you stand praying, if you have anything against anyone, forgive him, that your Father in heaven may also forgive you your trespasses. So even as you come to God in prayer and you're looking for forgiveness for something you've done, he tells you to forgive someone who's done wrong to you. And he even goes on to say, but if you do not forgive, neither will your Father in heaven forgive your trespasses. And so how serious is that? He's linked our forgiveness with his forgiveness. And so we need to take it very seriously when we come before him in prayer. But forgiveness or unforgiveness is within your power. Holding a grudge doesn't make you strong. And some people love to talk about what they're going to do to hurt somebody. And they think it makes them strong. It doesn't. It makes them bitter. Forgiving, on the other hand, doesn't make you weak. It sets you free. Or you are free, friend, to hold on to your anger, to be like a ticking time bomb, to be resentful, to wait for the day where you can get revenge. You're free to do that. But in the meantime, you're hurting yourself, and most likely you're hurting the people closest to you. And that's before the other person that you want to take revenge on even knows about it. Forgiveness is in your power, and it is a wonderful power to have, because forgiveness heals. Forgiveness heals you. And I know for many of you listening that there are some things you need to address before God and before man, and the chains will be broken. He can do that for you, just simply by forgiving. And when you find it hard, and I know you will, remember Jesus on the cross. He said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. How powerful is that? Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Those same people who'd nailed his hands and his feet, those same people who mocked him and spat on him and had bashed him, those same people who stood there that had run away from him, and those who came up and cursed him to his face, those same people who gambled for his clothes while he was dying, prepared a spear to put in his side, those same people, he said, Father, forgive them. They don't realize what they're doing. And so Jesus can help us. The toxic pain of unforgiveness can only go away when you say, and this is a very powerful word, I forgive you. Last time we looked at the power of the word, I'm sorry. We need to use that word as well. But we have power in these words, I forgive you. And I pray that God will bless you as you take power back and get some peace back into your life that God intended for you to have by forgiving those who've hurt you. And there could be a lot of them, I understand. There could be a whole nation. But God will bless you when you do. And I will pray for you.